Hey, everybody, how are you? Happy, what is it, Monday? It's a public holiday here in Lusaka, Zambia. For those of you that are here and in and around the circumference of this territory, you will realize very quickly that we are going through a 4-day, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 days of nothing but holiday making. I mean, you can't get any better than that. Bo Allen, I see you. I saw you earlier. Thank you so much. Lawrence, is it Lawrence? Who's this? Muzandu. Hello to you, sir. You're working on. Listen, somebody says, "Are you working on a holiday?" Let me break this down for you. Mux, is it Mux or Mux? Let me explain something to you. We don't. Simoson never sleeps. You must know that. I mean, Simoson is like the city of New York. Now, I'm not comparing Simoson to New York because I know some of you are going to say, well, what's that compare New York and Simoson? What I'm saying is we never sleep here. The business runs with or without a holiday. You can never tell when you get here that it's a holiday. You know why? Because Simoson never sleeps. Guys, let's talk about it. I got a few minutes with you just before the news comes on. We need to break this down for you. Let's go ahead and have a quick conversation about this. Tasila Lungu Cries foul. Now, let me bring you up to speed. For those of you that do not know, Tasila Lungu is the former president's daughter. She's a member of parliament. She served as a counselor as well in Chawama, a very prominent young lady, very highly educated, and she's been in the news lately, and she made a very bold claim. Now, guys, we're living in the age of technology. Everything and anything these politicians say can be fact-checked, can be cross-checked, can be challenged. Never, especially a politician, never take a politician at face value. Never listen to what a politician says and take it as the gospel truth. If anything, take everything a politician says with a pinch of salt, especially when they sound like they're saying it with conviction. So here it is. A few days ago, she made this very bold claim. Tasila Lungu claims that Zambia has moved from the 6th most peaceful country to the 9th. Now, this is what she neglected to tell you. Where? The 6th most peaceful country? Where? In Africa, in the region, in the world, in the Milky Way, in the galaxy, in the universe? Where? She deliberately leaves that very important information out, almost to the point where if you Google it, you won't find it. You go ahead and try Google. Where does Zambia rank in terms of peace? You're not going to find this statistic anywhere. You won't find it anywhere. You won't find it on the internet. You won't find it in the encyclopedia. You won't find it anywhere. Why? Because it's bogus. It's not true. It's too vague. It's ambiguous. So it is. Here, Tasila Lungu made a bold claim based on nothing when she says, no, Zambia has moved from the sixth most peaceful country to the ninth. Where's the report that says that, first of all? Second of all, where? Where? Sixth most country in the what? In the region, on the continent, in the world, in the galaxy, in the vast expanse of space? Where? She doesn't tell us. So this is simply not true. Now, when you read things like this, especially when it comes from someone who used to be in the PF, because Tasila Lungu is a byproduct of the PF. I mean, she's the personification of the notorious Patriotic Front, because by virtue of the fact that she was very close to the party, she was a representative of the party in many respects, and she was the daughter, she still is, the daughter of the former president of Zambia, Mr. Edgar Lungu, who was the presidential PF candidate who ultimately became the president of Zambia. So anyone who comes from the PF and they make these bold claims, watch it. Because when they say things like that, you wonder, number one, this is what I wonder. Number one, this current government repealed the defamation of the president law. Okay, they did that. Number two, they abolished the death penalty. I should put abolished. Okay. Number three, they banned blatant cadarism as we know it. Now, of course, cadarism still exists to a degree, but it doesn't exist in the form of the PF. I hope I spelled cadarism correctly, because sometimes you must forgive me sometime. Spelling cadarism. Okay, you guys can correct me. We still have cadarism, but it's not as potent. You know the word potent? Not important, potent. It's not as concentrated. It's not as dense as it was during the PF. Today, anyone who claims to be a kada, you can go report them to the police. Usually, the end result is that they'll go to prison. They'll go to jail. You can't fight the funk. You can't do that. You cannot fight the funk. Okay? So, against the backdrop of all of these things, it surprises me, it shocks me. It behooves me when I hear former President Lungu's daughter say, we're worried because Zambia's ranking, we've dropped from 6th to the 9th most peaceful country in the what? Be specific. Be specific. Lastly, let me just say that, here it is lately, you've been hearing, we've got 5 minutes before the news, we've been hearing all these PF people complaining about, oh no, we've been abducted and our human rights are being trampled on and this, that, and the other, and blobbity, blobbity, blob. But the truth is, you must understand this one thing, guys, that the pursuit of criminals from the previous regime is not equal to human rights abuse. You must understand that. When for example, Tasila Lungu came out with this statement that she made that Zambia has dropped from the 6th to the 9th peaceful country in the whatever it is. She said that a few days after her brother had been arrested on charges of money laundering. And you've got to understand that Tasila Lungu basically was in charge of supplying vehicles to the entire government. I mean, imagine that. Imagine one young man in the PF regime, the son of the former president, he was in charge, basically, of supplying the entire government with vehicles. And then when a red light pops up after the regime has been removed, a red light pops up and then the authorities begin to take a closer look at Dalitso. and they arrest him and they charge him, Tasila Lungu turns around and says, no, this is human rights abuse. Guys, understand this. Let this sink in your spirit. Let this sizzle in your heart. The pursuit of criminals from the previous regime is not equal to human rights abuses. If you committed crimes, honey, they will come after you. That's just the way that it is. That's the name of the game. That's what you signed up for. If you lived in a bubble, because this is the intoxicating quality of power, is that when you're in it, you think you'll always be there. You'll be there forever. You'll do stuff. Nobody will question you. Well, you bear the brunt of those decisions, because one day when you are no longer there and you no longer have a father to protect you, a father who served as president to protect you, when that umbrella disappears, when that pavilion dissipates, when that shelter is obliterated, and you're standing out in the cold, vulnerable, weak, and alone, guess what? You will be vanquished by the law. You will. That's just the way it is. So it is wrong. It is disingenuous of you to turn around and say, well, we're being abused. Our human rights are being violated. They're not being violated. You committed a crime. The police, the authorities are after you, and you are simply reaping what you sow. That's what it is. So don't turn around and start talking about, oh no, they're abusing us. That's not true. You're being disingenuous. Don't hide under this falsehood that the pursuit of your criminality is tantamount to human rights abuses. It is not. All right, I got 2 more minutes. Let me read a couple of your comments, and then I can say good night. All righty, are we on? Here it is. Somebody says, what about the 48 houses? Those that couple at their uncle is the Katwishuko. What are you saying? Watching from Namibia. There's a comment here. You're right. Our chief molomist. We have gathered here our chief molomalist. The more we do, news in our kunganda.